Hello, dear friends, colleagues. Today we are going to speak about technological partnerships in the cybersecurity world. We are going to discuss why is it important to create technological partnerships, what are the main objectives that we're trying to solve, which are the values that we're trying to carry. Today in our studio we have Nikolai Arefyev. Hello, everybody, co-founder of RST Cloud Company, and Anya Oleynikova, product director from Security Vision company. We have 30 minutes for this conversation. That's why we are going to talk about what is technological partnership in our companies. We're going to speak about our examples and brief introduction. RST Cloud Company is involved in all scenes in our market. They collect analytics and cybersecurity compromising indicators, and they deliver this data as feeds to different solutions. Security Vision has a full product portfolio of different solutions in building and helping to cybersecurity processes, and we will speak about integration and Strat Intel platforms and ERP platforms. And as a representative of Positive Technologies, I will speak about integration with our product, Xpatrial CM. We are going to speak about all of these, and I'm going to begin with Nikolai, and I will ask you a simple question. What is technological partnership? Why market companies build partnerships like that? Okay, let's see. We can discuss this topic a lot, but I would like to speak about the main thing here. There's a lot of companies which are involved in a lot of different directions of activities in this area. And there's a lot of technologies. It's impossible to be super cool in everything. That's why every company has a certain focus on those areas. They are strong. But clients have a lot of solutions and a lot of objectives. That's why simultaneously they use stack of technologies, stack of platforms. Each of these technologies, each of these platforms, they work together inside of the client's company. So we have to use technologies together, and we should have certain connection points, integration points, technological partnership between different vendors, whether international security. It's a story about building ecosystem of products inside of a certain client. So building these ecosystems is one of the main drivers that was not created yesterday, but nevertheless this process is continuously developing. And to my point of view, technological partnerships is building global ecosystems inside of every client's company. And briefly speaking, that's something like that. Can you add something to this? Yes, from my side, I would like to say that basically our company is involved in orchestration of information security processes, managing them, managing different defense measures under this top level of abstract management. And in every project, implementation or the pilot project, we do face situation of integrational needs. So those projects where we enter together with technological partner, integration happens on a deeper level, happens on a more expert, technical expert, much quicker, faster, and more effective. At the same time, the quality is not just related to the project by itself separately, but we improve the quality of each other together with the partner by helping each other, correcting each other, reducing some gaps between each other that might be in service farms in the area of APIs of each other. And that's how we improve the quality for each other, for every vendor, for every company that we cooperate with in the framework of this integration. And I would like to support Nikolai here in the sense that within technological partnership, we have a division defining the expertise and competencies, and we see a certain competency synergy. Like in medicine, in complicated cases, we have continuum of different doctors from different fractions, and each one of them, therapists, gastroenterologists, cardiologists, give their own conclusion on the basis of their own experience. Same thing happens here, like together with you in the CM point of view, like with Nikolai in the framework of supplier indicator of compromising. Each one of us plays its own function. Nikolai, for example, and RST Cloud Company There's a big number of sensors from open sources. They cover more than 260 open sources, and they supply this information to us. And we, from our side, we search this data in the infrastructure, and we investigate and react to the incidents. Before we will go to the objectives and goals, technological partnership, is it a way of solving business goals for certain manufacturers, and maybe some connection points with more serious players on the market, some joint sales, or maybe building some complex transactions, or maybe it's solving clients' problems. So what is the main driver to create such technological cooperation? Is it just about the money, or maybe some common task, common goal? Well, I would like to answer your question. Technological partnerships, they don't have one technological or purely money goal. It includes both, but most likely, I think the emphasis is given to technologies. Why it's like that? It's very simple. We have market needs in certain goals and objectives, and these goals and objectives can be solved directly with the help of products in the information security, and the market, honestly speaking, dictates requirements to these technological partnerships. If you look at the same Gartner research, recent one, they tell us that number of solutions like ICM, ERP, threat intel platforms, they start getting closer to each other faster and faster. And this is a set of mass of technological partnerships. This is building different technological connections to satisfy the needs of the client, and the more of those we have, the closer we are to uniting certain classes of solutions within one platform. So giving an answer to your question, what is it? Money or technologies? These are market needs which are caused by these technological connections. Thank you. Well, as for us, from the point of view of initiator, who is the initiator of these technological partnerships? Or first, integration and then technological partnerships. First of all, it's the client as a role. For projects, for solutions, for needs, for demands in the framework of technological sovereignty projects, there's a need of getting integrated with all the solutions of the Russian class and principle. So we start working on something like this. So this is the first and main initiation. And the second one, the trends or digitalization of information technologies, information security, technological segment, technological transformation of the companies, they make all the companies and all the vendors to have the API to cooperate with each other and transfer data back and forth. And I would like to add to this a little bit. There's another interesting topic. Some vendors don't even imagine that they become technological partners to each other. They can't even imagine that. A simple example being that in a company, they have several solutions which work simultaneously. They use them, and there's a need of combining them and enriching them within these two solutions. The client takes and using Python, Bash, they write their own scripts, and by this they are creating this link connection. There are no vendors, but technological partnership is available and viable, but it was done with the hands of a certain client. Thank you, Kolya. And I would like to make an emphasis on the fact that, well, it looks like that in the first place we have money or real practical security, but very often it happens that due to availability of integrational function, integration happens at the moment of project creation, launching certain system. And it is very important so that participants of this technological partnership would be able to investigate those cases, discover them, make them important to other clients, and then start building technological partners, not for the sake of partnership and put it into marketing, but they should look at practical cases, because many companies, they try to increase and improve their security systems on a stage-by-stage basis, starting from building separate systems, CM class systems, then they launch ERP data, then they connect to these certain indicators, and technological partnership can be a consequence of demand by certain companies which already went through this path with certain representatives of vendors with certain solutions in their hands. So it is very important to keep contacts to each other, to warm up the interest to these integrations. It's not, and also what is important is the unique experience that client companies have after cognitive positioning, and they have to convey this experience to all other companies. So, in the first place, we should solve the problem and experience that is being accumulated inside of the companies. So, let's dive deeper a little bit. Let's try to look in the direction of relations between Max Patrol CM solution with indicators. Well, I know that you are very well experienced person, and we also have good technical audience. That's why, can you tell us, please, in details, how can we use compromising details in Max Patrol CM from Max Cloud? Well, let's see. What do we see right now? The most often cases of using those indicators in DICEs in Russia, it's either we take those indicators and we select the most important ones, the most dangerous ones, and we download them in a CM solution. And this is a very obvious case. And for this, on the side of both the supplier of those indicators, there should be certain technical things have to be done, and on the side of the solution itself, which is a CM solution. How does it happen? Usually, in the CM solutions, we either have ready APIs through which you can download data on the basis of indicators, and it's like threat intel. You can download because these indicators is a part of threat intel. So it happens that supplier does understand what CM solution is API solution. He understands how to work with it, and therefore, if this API helps you to make a push inside of it, we take indicators and from a certain side, from the side of the vendor of API supplier, we download it. That's option number one. The option number two, when the CM solution goes into the client's cloud, they take indicators and they download in certain structures. And then we have a second topic. In addition to API, vendor should have a structures that helps vendor to place all this data, not just one in-dice indicator that this is malicious. How malicious? Why malicious? Just malicious. But what is important is to have additional context, at least the basic context. And if there is an attribution, which threat, which group of threats, which VPU this in-dice is related to, it's important to understand which role is given to this in-dice, whether it's to C2C server or it's URLs from which droppers are being downloaded. So this is basic information, and of course it's also in the core. How dangerous is this indicator? So in the CM we should have structures which allow us to pull these indicators. In Max Patrol CS, these are tables, spreadsheet, lists. In other solutions they are called differently, but most importantly we should have them. And part number three of this component is flexibility of the solution itself, of the CM itself, from the point of view of flexibility of the correlation rules engine, in order to work with this spreadsheet, to check exceptions, repetition lists with conditions. And this is very important because from this point of view, it's not just a need for integration, but we should go deep into each one of the vendors, and we should see the technical solution chains for this integration. That's why the way of technological partnership is not just like we take something, we publish press release, oh yeah, we cooperate, so wonderful, that's wonderful, what else? But this also includes big work on the side of every team, of every vendor. That's how the Max Patrol CM integration looks like. Thanks, Koля. Maybe you will add a little bit about integration with security vision solutions, and if they will catch this up, and I would like to listen about how the security vision works, like with feeds from RST. Yeah, I'll tell you a couple words about that, and then I will give the floor to Anya. See, the thing is that when we speak about work with threat intel platform, SOC platform, out there are certain specifics. If threat intel platform is a solution so that we could store maximal available volume of information and knowledge, therefore, what is TI? TI is graphs of interrelated objects which have their own historical connectedness. So you have to be able to understand what is available in the feed, what objects are available, what structures are available, and how to properly store them. So during the integration of threat and platform in security vision, we have a close cooperation level of how we form our own TI, what fields do we have, what these fields mean, and from the point of view of security vision, how all this information can accurately be placed inside of our internal structures and then provided to the end user. So from this point of view, I should give the floor to Aya. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I will support the topic about a data model. We have developed a very complicated hierarchical model with several types of indicators like both technical and operational and strategic attributions, which allows us to, on the basis of one very simple elementary indicator of IP address type, bring it to interrelation with criminals, with malicious companies, where they participated with a certain indication on the level of operation activity, malicious process, germs, mutexes, so we can see the attack behavioristic indicators, and this chain, this graph, gives us understanding both from the side of the situational awareness, from the point of view of investigation of our internal incidents, which came from the CM platform, and also in the framework of preliminary work before the incident happens and before the impact, when we still have the compromising indicator, which tells us that there was a CTO address. Nothing happened. We didn't have any correlation rules which worked. We just see the trigger, and from this point of view, we can show all the potential consequences of this indicator and its future activities. That's why we work with Nikolai from the point of view of receiving the latest information. We divide our objectives here into our technological functional area of searching for indicators, searching and reacting to them. And Nikolai provides us with important data filled with context, with minimal amount of false positives. And I would like to add to this, there's another big story, which is not always so obvious. It's a story related with similar understanding between the supplier of TI and the vendor who does the threat intel platform. It's understanding from the point of view of dangers of this indicator. How do we understand what it is, this dangerous indicator? For example, we have a 100-point scale. So what does it mean, the level 50? Threat level 50. We have to understand it together. So together with security vision, we communicate this, and therefore we come to this common understanding of what is dangerous indicator. Well, the question is to Anya. In order to connect the feed from RST, do you need threat intel platform, or SOAR is enough, or maybe you need some module? So how does it look from the point of view of the product, license-wise? Well, there's a lot of schemes, and they are flexible. The main scheme, which is being declared here, in connection with those IP platforms and multiplicity of suppliers of indicators in the whole Russian market, all the commercial feeds from Russian, well, basically speaking, we supply connectors and integration directly in the framework of this platform. Together with Nikolai, we work on a more complicated scheme when through us we have a single financial scheme of agreement with the clients. For example, you are contracting through us a single entry point and exit point, and then we provide also services of getting compromising indicators through RST Cloud in order to simplify for the client the procedural process nuances. So it happens that you have a technological partnership in a full-scale partnership. So through the security vision and vendor contracts and RST Cloud, you allow people to get turnkey solution. Yes, first of all, for the convenience. First of all, it is done for the convenience of the client. And if there is a need of building some additional contracts with RST Cloud directly, we're not against it. So everything is done for the convenience. But if there's a need, you can do this. Okay, as a moderator, I will make a resume to this part. So basically speaking, I see how the CM integration together with these indicators from RST, all these complicated work and certain detecting scenarios when in a big data flow you should connect and detect possible replies or potential indications of a certain malicious activities. But in case with threat intel or with SOAR solutions, this work is to the depth. For example, if you see a certain case, if you understand a certain scenario of intrusion, then you start working in enriching with the context of this threat. You see what additional indicators can be relevant, which data hacker group can have these relevant type of activities, and you give the possibility to analytics and people who sit in the SOCs of the client to enrich the incident data and investigate it in a full scale. Yes, yes, yes. Well, then I would like to emphasize there is a cooperation between MPCM with Security Vision. We have realized that through our open API, and we in a number of projects we already have completed this integration, and this integration technology has been confirmed. And I will ask the final question in our session, and then remaining time will dedicate to problems. The problem is available. The problems of connecting integration of several technologies in a given case, three representatives, definitely this integration is available. So, Kolya, I will start with you traditionally. Which problems do you see, and where the seam starts getting disconnected? And this is a continuation. Who is responsible for all of this? Well, let's try to speak honestly about this. Let's separate this question into two components. There is a financial component and there is a technical component to this. Briefly speaking, financial component, it's understandable that every vendor is developing. And it does happen that in the beginning we had a technological partnership, and then inside of the vendor we had a new product which competes with another vendor's product. Technological partnerships suffer from these. Fortunately, there are not many cases like that in the market, especially in Russia, but nevertheless, this is one of the main factors. And right now, directly to the technical side of the question. In the technical part of it, it's very important which problems are available. The problems very often happen in violation of communications related with this, and technical problems are coming out of this. One of the vendors have corrected something from their side, and inside of their own technological partnerships have not invested them and introduced some changes into API. Everything have broken down. How does it look from the client's point of view? For example, they updated one of the products and everything broke down. And that's when the worst thing happens, which entails big consequences. Vendors start publicly or non-publicly hitting ball to each other. Who is at fault? And this is the worst case in the technological partnerships. If you see something like that, this is very bad. This is a first sign that technological partnership is not built on the proper level. Right now, in the framework of development of different concepts and approaches of the same API, Simverse approach and other ones, everything is done in order to avoid such technical problems. Another topic related with the fact that there is a necessity to provide continuous testing of these connections on the side of every vendor. So as I've told you in the beginning, technological partnerships, it's the process-oriented thing which should be realized from both sides of each vendor. So who's going to be at fault and who's responsible for all this if the technological partnership is built properly when the client has problems in the connection of these two solutions? They may come to any of the vendors which are part of this technological partnership and can say that we have this problem. And the main objective of these vendors is to agree between themselves and solve this client's problem, and then come to the client with a turnkey solution instead of hitting wall to each other all the time. Okay, let's dig deeper. Your best case in building relations with a certain technological partner so that you can lead such simultaneous connection so that the client would never come to you with those problems and they would be preventable. preventable. Well, absence of the problem is the ideal case, and the problems will always happen, but the problem is how the vendors are solving them. My vision of a proper technological cooperation is not just marketing when we have sent press release to this cooperation, but also on the side of the client. On the side of the client, there's a development team which understands that technological partnerships is one of the priority objectives, and management, which manages development and priorities, follows those objectives which do influence technological partners. So this is internal process which is rooted in the development and proper priorities in the backlog development, because we do cooperate, but very often integrational projects are forgotten and we forget about them and we don't do these. And this entails specific problems on the side of the client. So, once again, to my point of view, the proper technological partnership is a process which is built inside of the development in two companies at least. Okay, then I have a question from live. For example, we have changed certain API functions and they started working differently. Technological partnership of loading specific indicators stopped working with a certain, well, if there was a connector which collected data and it stopped working. It was developed for the client in a certain project. So the question to a system integrator who's been combining these two products, or maybe this is a question to manufacturer where the API didn't work, or maybe it's a question to the data suppliers. Well, this problem is not a new problem. It's the integrational problem. It can be solved with integration tests. It can be solved on unit tests, API tests. And vendor applies certain change and knows that he has a public API used by their partners. So if he will break something, he will have to warn the client about it. Many vendors, including like Positive, they have a special program when beta versions are given to not only clients but also partners to test in order to see has anything broken there or not. And this is a very good case, which allows you to, without even rolling the main pod, immediately understand that something will happen there. So each of the partners in this technological partnership will already change something on their own side. Anya, can you tell me something about these problems? Yes, perhaps I will requalify this question in another direction, because technological partnerships, well, we didn't have any problems with them. With you, for example, when we cooperate with you, we do it very closely. But as soon as we have a need of having a new version of a product, we come to you and you provide it to us like almost day to day. Same with RST Cloud. We never had any difficulties from the point of view of cooperation, update, building integrations, no problems. But what I would like to say, the problems happen in the framework of some specific projects, in the framework of some specific clients. For example, very often we face technological problems, impossibility of calling a key function which is available in the interface but not available in the API, or not provided by service company, or complicated methods of authentication, the absence of a certain attribute, data attribute, or a full set of data. And another big problem is weak level of documentation, especially in some key integrations. We face the situation that documentation has not been delivered and updated before the release, or it's so detailed. And technological partnerships, they solve this problem because we immediately come to you as a third line of defense and you explain this to us as fast as possible. Thank you very much, Oya. Well, honestly, as a moderator, I would like to complete this session. I do agree with the position of Nikolai and Anna's position as well. The question is about proper cooperation. If the companies have agreed about technological partnership and they do not speak about simple integration of solutions in a certain client, so under these words, they should have much more than a simple marketing declaration. They should also mean close work between teams, testing teams, new releases teams, development of those functions, which are necessary for integration. So if the company approaches these maturely, and if the company update their products on timely basis, they have to test compatibility within the whole technological partnership that was created in the market. And this is another cornerstone problem. Should we have a lot of those technological partnerships or few technological partners? And there are technical teams who are responsible for development and testing. Well, I would like to say thanks to the participants of our online session. We had Nikolai Arefyev, co-founder of RST Cloud Company, and Anna Oleynikova, product director from Security Vision Company. Thank you very much. See you next time. Thank you.